Okay, so I'm going to do a little garden tour here, showing you guys what we've been working on. It's my favorite garden sign, took that from my homestead. And we're going to start over here. These are called culture beds. They're actually a pile, you can actually see a little bit of the wood right there. They're a pile of wood underneath here, and as it breaks down, it creates basically this really wonderful spongy thing. And we've actually planted a lot of herbs on the top, like the catnip that Acorn just can't leave alone. We'll see how long this is going to survive. She's rolling in it and she's having her way with it. And stinging nettle, and then around these edges, this is going to get a little darker and cooler because I'm standing in the north right now. We've got various brassicas. And then we've got a lot of perennial herbs up in here. And essentially this garden is like a meditation walking garden. And so the idea is that you have a labyrinth and you can walk it. It's not a traditional 5-circuit labyrinth, but it's a labyrinth. This is all going to be corn, beans, squash. This is Three Sisters. You can see it all along here. This is Three Sisters. We are keeping some of the ecosystem intact, like that thistle is a ladybug haven. We've got this mound over here. And so you can kind of walk the paths. It's a lot of fun. The other thing we have going on is keyhole beds. So keyhole beds maximize growing space. And so anywhere in this bed I can easily access. This is a lot of different medicinal herbs that I planted in here. St. John's and comfrey and arnica and other things. We did have some chicken problems, so that was primarily carrots and radish, but the chickens had their way. So I'm going to kind of come around here, show you some more. This is a bed of lettuce. We sow it really thickly, and then you can harvest all of the small ones and let the big ones grow into heads. And believe it or not, I harvested from this today. You can't really tell. So we got some good kale going on here. Here's another chunk of the hugel that's more exposed, which is cool. We had chicken incursions, so I took the clods and put it out in here. Over here is the beginning of a little perennial ecosystem. I've got elder and a hazelnut in here. We've got hazels all along here, and some of them are starting to sprout again. Got some valerian. There's a dyer's chamomile in here. There's some nitrogen fixers, blue false indigo, 2 of those. Got a comfrey in here. Got some good ground cover, good king henry and things like that. Got some raspberries along this edge here. And so the idea is that as they grow, they become an ecosystem. We're not going to disturb that soil. We're just going to let them grow. And so there's a lot more herbs and things in here. Nice rhubarb, good comfrey. There's another kitty acorn. We're using this fence to grow the peas up. And then these are some newer beds, and you can see Trinity's actually back there working on a sheet mulch. We've got some experiments going on here. Not really sure how they're going to work because we're trying to deal with newspaper and weed suppression, but also letting corn, beans, squash come up in here. So it's kind of a crazy thing. There's a fire pit, kind of a hangout area here in the middle. We just had some dinner. I'll kind of walk you through this area. So this is going to be corn, beans, and squash?
Yeah.
Okay, more corn, beans, and squash here. Back here is a raspberry patch. We went to Michigan and one of my good friends gave us some raspberries, and you can see they're starting to come back up nicely. We won't get a yield from this year, but I'm sure it'll be abundant next year. And this is essentially what we're growing on. We had the pig come in here and she tilled everything up, which was awesome. And now, you know, we've got some of it's just going to be wild. Like this is just a wild food and medicine hedge. There's all kinds of things in there. A lot of goldenrod growing in there and other plants, other medicinals. There's a lot of ground nut as well, which is an edible. So even these things that look like quote unquote weeds, almost every one of these has either food or medicinal properties to it. Goldenrod, ground nut. Here's ragweed, medicinal. Goldenrod's medicinal. You know, so you get the idea. There's a lot of good stuff even in these beds. Potatoes are back here. This is south, kind of our southern corner down here. And so the potato beds are coming along. And here's some other stuff. So you can see how this path just keeps going and meandering, and you can really walk it and really contemplate. Part of the reason we didn't do much with this is, as you can see, underneath this wonderful hedge of pollinator space, there's a lot of gravel, and so we didn't want to try growing on much of that. But the rest of this is as we work through it, in pretty good shape. So this is essentially the garden. really proud of some of the work we've been doing here. I'm going to kind of jump over this so I can go back this way. We have some little hidden spots. As you see, we have folks here. It's Kevin and Acorn. They're having a good time. Acorn just had her way with the catnip, so she's now very, very happy and drunk on catnip. And thus ends the introduction to our garden.